Hello everyone, I'm Joseph, the first J of Jmdjstudios, and I have for you guys today another top 10 list. Today, it is our top 10 Super Nintendo games. So, let's jump right into it. So number 10 on our list is Super Mario Kart. Now, for those who don't know, Super Mario Kart was the first Mario Kart that they made. As you can see, it had a pretty small roster of characters, but it's really cool because they actually have Donkey Kong Jr. and Koopa Troopa in this one too. Super Mario Kart was a really fun racer game. It's very similar to F-Zero if you've played that one, except it's not as crazy. Mario Kart has always been really fun. This is the game that started it all. It had two-player action, but it was still a couch co-op game. It was so fun to play together with your friends. Graphically speaking, the game holds up pretty well. It's very colorful. It's very it's got, I guess, for lack of a better word, it's got good texture. It's got a unique perspective for a 3D game on the Super Nintendo. It's quite interesting. It was a very good racer. Probably one of the best racers on the game. And it was good enough to make number 10 on our list. So Super Mario Kart. Mario Kart Super. Kart Super Mario. Okay, so number 9 on our list is a very awesome game. It is Super Metroid. Super Metroid is incredible. It has got this great feeling to the game. First of all, you play as Samus Aran, and she's an incredible character anyways, but this game focuses so much on exploration. It's got this giant map for you to explore, and you really do feel like you're alone, except for all of the enemies. But I mean, you feel like you are the only person there, and it's really cool. It's got an amazing soundtrack to the game. Super Metroid is one of my personal favorite Super Nintendo games. It's so fun to play through and discover all of your new power-ups and abilities, and go through the levels and the worlds like this. A detailed intro, as you can see here, which is very, very cool. The game itself is phenomenal. If you haven't played Super Metroid before, you haven't played it before, I urge you to pick it up today, son. Sonny boy. Sonny, shun. Super Metroid. It is fantastic. There are no other words that I can use to explain this game. It is one of the best, arguably, Metroid games in the series. And it was the second one, if I'm not mistaken. Because there was Metroid on the NES in this one. So yeah, the second one. It is just mind-blowing. It is so good. So go pick up Super Metroid. Number 8 on our list is Super Mario Bros. 2, or Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. Now this game is really awesome, and I'm going to start with the graphics alone. The graphics in this game are so different from the graphics in Super Mario World. And Yoshi games always are. Yoshi games have always been one to experiment with graphics and stuff like that. This one looks so much more cartoony. It looks like hand-drawn cartoon colors. It looks like you were watching a Hanna-Barbera show on Cartoon Network, but with better backgrounds to it. As you can see, it's very colorful, it's very bright, but it looks very stylized. And I think that makes the game age very well all on its own. But the interesting part about this is it's technically a prequel to Super Mario World, even though it's number 2. Because you start as baby Mario, so you start when Mario was a baby, and the stork drops him on the island, and you have to play as a team of Yoshis to get him back. They decide, since the island is so big, to get him to where they need to go. They set up a relay system, so you play as a Yoshi, you run through the level, you drop him off to the next Yoshi, and then he runs through the level, and so on and so forth. You get to fight Baby Bowser. Baby Bowser is a really good villain, and it really fits well with the Yoshi series. But there's several levels in the game, and it's so much fun. And it's actually a lot harder than, it would appear, because when you look at the Yoshi game compared to a Mario game, you would assume that the Mario game would be harder. This Yoshi game is pretty difficult. And it's very interesting, because when you get hurt, you lose Mario, and you have he gets in like a bubble, and you have a certain amount of time to get him back. So it's really cool, but it's got awesome platforming, it's got great level design, it's got a great soundtrack, it's got awesome graphics. There's nothing to not love in Yoshi's Island. And that was number 8 on our list. So, number 7 on our list is Super Mario RPG. Now, this game is really awesome. If you haven't played it, if you haven't played this one, I guarantee you've played some of the newer installments of the game. Have you ever heard of Paper Mario or the Mario and Luigi series, like Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga and Dream Team and the newest one, Paper Jam? If you have, this is the game that started it all. And it was actually developed by Square. So, if you like their RPGs, you're going to love this game. Basically, you start out as Mario, and you have a team of Mario characters that join your party. You know, from Princess Peach and even Bowser, join your party. It is a solid RPG through and through. The graphics on it are pretty cool. They're very unique for this setting, which I like about Mario games and stuff like that. They got very unique graphics for it. There's some awesome, there's some awesome side characters in the game that haven't appeared in anything else, like Gino. I think I'm pronouncing that right. You've got your regular Mario characters, like, you've got Mario and Peach and Bowser and so on, that can help you along the way, and that is really cool. The game has a great moveset. It's got a really good soundtrack to it. It's a turn-based RPG game. I would definitely recommend picking that one up. So, number 7, Mario RPG. So number 6 on my list, before we get started with the game itself, I wanted to give a shout out to Did You Know Gaming, because it is a fascinating YouTube channel. If you haven't ever seen Did You Know Gaming, definitely go check them out. But number 6 on our list is a little game, very tiny game that I like to call Earthbound. If you haven't played Earthbound, it's part of the Mother series in Japan. Earthbound is on the Super Nintendo, but if you have a Super Nintendo and you want it, the game is a little expensive. If you don't have a Super Nintendo and you really want to play this game, it is on the Wii U Virtual Console. I urge you to pick it up and play it, because it's only I think it's either $7.99 or it's like $9.99. Either way, it's worth it. Earthbound is a fantastic RPG. Made number 6 on our list. Earthbound is very strange. I'm just going to throw that out there. It is very, it's very strange. Earthbound has this weird sense of humor that goes on throughout the entire game, which makes it very special. I don't even, starting with the main character, his name is Ness, kind of like the NES, but it just goes on from that point. You never get to see your father, for example. He's always calling you over the phone, and that's led to many speculations and rumors in itself. But the game is so fun throughout the whole thing. You're going to be laughing a lot through the game, but it's a very serious RPG. It's very fun. It's very challenging at times. Actually, most of the time it's very challenging. It's got a really, really good soundtrack. Most of these games on our list have really good soundtracks, but this one has a really, really good soundtrack. So it's like, normal video game soundtracks, like, down here, and then it's like Earthbound is up here. So it's like, boom. That's how that goes. The enemies in this game are not normal. You fight like hipsters and taxi cabs and, lamps and newspapers. And you do fight some normal enemies, like, snakes, and then, of course, the Starmen, which are like aliens. So you fight them, but most of the enemies in the game are nuts. Like, you just look at it, you're like, what? I gotta fight that? I mean, but it's really cool, and it really does feel like, Ness is a kid, and it really does feel like you are a kid that is chosen to save the world, and you have to go on this epic adventure with just you and a few friends, and it really does feel like you're a kid, and sometimes you even feel limited by the fact that you're a kid, and I think that makes the game even more enjoyable. I would definitely pick up Earthbound as soon as possible. It's really good. So now we're in the top 5. Number 5 on our list is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time. Now this is technically the 4th game in the series. You've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1, TMNT 2, the arcade game TMNT 3, and those are all on the NES. But this is number 4, Turtles in Time. This game takes those 4 games, it's the pinnacle, it is the top, it is the best in that set of games. Great 2-player action, and if you want to go single player, that's fine too. You get to pick from the 4 turtles, and it is a side-scrolling beat-em-up game, but it's so good. The sound, the music is good, but the sound effects are even better in this game. Like, you can hear the turtles saying all sorts of catchphrases and stuff. You get to fight a slew of Turtles villains in this game. So many Turtles villains. It's just like Turtles everywhere. But Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is an awesome series in itself. This game is the one that I think everyone needs to play. It is one of the best games on the Super Nintendo. And it's not quite a long game if you are, good at a 2D side-scrolling beat-em-up style game. It's not quite that long, but it's so fun. It makes you want to, you beat it, and you kind of just want to go, well, I'm going to start over and do it again. Me personally, I can't tell you how many times I have beaten the game. I know I've beaten the game once as all 4 Turtles. I've beaten the game with Mary Lou. I've beaten the game with David, who has appeared on the channel before. So I've beaten the game so many times, and like just watching it makes me want to go back and start playing it again. Graphically speaking, it's pretty good. I mean, it's very colorful. It's very cartoony. The Turtles' personalities are in there. It's very good, and it's a lot. It's a very big step up from the other games. And for those who are interested, they've actually remade this game. I think it's on the Xbox 360. The Xbox 360 Marketplace. I think it's called Turtles in Time Reshelled, but it's basically the same game with they improved the graphics and some stuff. But anyways, TMNT number 4, Turtles in Time, made number 5 on our list. I'm not quite sure what that was, but I'll check on that in a little bit. Alright, so the next game on our list, number 4, is Super Mario World. The first one, not the second one, first one. Super Mario World is a really good game. As you can see graphically, like I mentioned earlier in the video, it looks a lot different. Well, right now it is. It looks a lot different from Yoshi's Island. The soundtrack in this game is really, really good. But what's even better is the gameplay. This game is one of the best 2D Mario games. Arguably the best 2D Mario game. This game, it sounds good, it looks good, it feels good to play. The enemies, it's so satisfying just walking through these levels. Well, more like running through these levels. I mean, the two-playerness, everything in this game is so fun. I have had so much fun with Super Mario World since the first time I played it and going on. It is also available on the Wii U Virtual Console. If you haven't played it, you need to. But Super Mario World, I mean, it's incredible. It's superb. It's sublime. It's insert word here. It's very, very good. For me, and for several others I know, this is the Mario experience that needs to be experienced. It's the game in this series that if you haven't played it, you just have to go play it because it's that good. It is really, really, really good. And it made number 4 on our list. Number 3 on our list is Donkey Kong Country. Now this game has this very special history and it's got a very special place in my heart. And here's why. Starting off, we had Donkey Kong on the arcade, and Donkey Kong debuted as the villain. Mario had to stop him to rescue the princess. That's how it went. Donkey Kong Country actually starts off with a new Donkey Kong. The original Donkey Kong is now Cranky Kong, and this Donkey Kong is his grandson or grandson. I can't remember how that goes. But anyways, this game is made by Rare. Rare makes some fantastic games. You know, Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong 64, Perfect Dark, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Diddy Kong Racing, Viva Pinata. The list just goes on and on, and they make fantastic game after fantastic game. And this one isn't one of their earliest games by far, but I think this is the first really big one that they got to do. The one that really put their name on the map. Donkey Kong Country was made at a time when Nintendo's Super Nintendo console was starting to feel more obsolete because the gaming industry was in this transitional phase, and it was starting to move on and away from 16-bit graphics. Rare had a 3D rendering chip that they used to build this game, and graphically it looks so much more, I don't know, I guess in a way you'd say different, and another way you'd say more real, and another way you would say more 3D than any other game on the Super Nintendo before. This game single-handedly gave new life into the Super Nintendo and started wiping out the competitors. Donkey Kong Country isn't just about the graphics, though. It's not just about the new technology. It has this incredible soundtrack that can go from really upbeat action to very mellow music, like when you're in an underwater level. And speaking of underwater levels, the underwater levels in this game aren't that bad like other games. I'm looking at you, Sonic the Hedgehog. Donkey Kong Country, though, the gameplay, we're going to talk about that for a while. It is an amazing 2D platformer. It is so good. The world of Donkey Kong Country is really good. As you can see, they've got, like, you know, these levels and styles that they're doing, like the rain, the lightning, and it's crazy. You go through so many different levels and themes, and you can play as, even if you're playing one player, you're playing as Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong at the same time. And if you play two-player, that's even more, you know, incredible because you're playing as both at the same time. And it's so cool. It's like a concept of taking a 2D side-scroller beat-em-up game like TMNT, where you're playing as two characters on the same screen at once, but turning it into a platformer, which makes it a little more challenging. And in some places, it can save your life. Like if I were to fall off the cliff, I'm playing with player 2. They can continue on the level and get a barrel and bring me back, which is really cool. The game itself is just so good. I cannot stress enough how good this game is. It is incredible. It's mind-blowing. There's so much to experience in this game, and the best part about it is there's 3 of them. Okay, and you know, the first one stars Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong, but you've got number 2, and you got number 3. Number 2, I think, is the one that most people think is the superior game. I disagree because I like the original one better, but all 3 of the games are really good. I have beat all of them. I think I played 2 more actually than the first one. Maybe. Doubtful. Very close call on that one. I've definitely played 3 less, but either way, I wouldn't say any of them are bad. I wouldn't say any of them are worse than the others. I think they're all even. I think they're all incredible. And I definitely think that you should play Donkey Kong Country on the Super Nintendo. Number 2 on our list is The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Now, in my last top 10 video I did, I talked a lot about The Legend of Zelda. The Legend of Zelda is such a great game universe, and I'm probably going to have to be talking a lot more about Legend of Zelda in the future as well. But this one is very special for me because this is one of the more recent Legend of Zelda games I played because I didn't grow up with the Super Nintendo for the longest time. I never had one, and I do now. When I put Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past in, I had no idea what I was about to experience. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past is my favorite Legend of Zelda game, and that's saying something because I grew up with the original on the NES and Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask on the 64. And then I went to Wind Waker and Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword and the Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks and Four Swords Adventures and stuff like that. I've experienced all of those games before this one. I didn't think that this one was going to rank as high on my list as it did. This would be considered one of my favorite games of all time. Okay, and The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past it's breathtaking. The world itself is very cool. It's got this unique top-down perspective. Well, I'm not saying it's unique in a way that, you know, games in general don't do it. I'm saying it's unique in a way that it's the way it is for Legend of Zelda. Okay. It is very cool. The game itself has incredible boss fights. It has incredible dungeons. It's got an awesome map to explore. And it has an even more incredible story. This game, to me, feels so much like a fairy tale that I've never experienced before. Even though I've played all these other Zelda games before. It's just different, and it's a good different. It's really fun. There's something about the graphics and, you know, the music and the way the game feels when you play it that just makes this game feel really special. And to me, it is the best Legend of Zelda game. And they even made a sequel on the 3DS, A Link Between Worlds. Just, I had so much fun beating this game the first time and going through and doing all the side quests and doing all the special stuff, the hidden things, collecting all the pieces of heart and stuff like that. So good. If you haven't played A Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, what are you waiting for? Like, seriously, what are you waiting for? Like, get up and go do it right now. Just go! Go! Moving on, then! So number 1 on our list is this. Chrono Trigger. Now, what can I say about Chrono Trigger that hasn't already been said? Not much. I played Chrono Trigger, like, I think it was about 2 years ago, okay? So, like, we're talking 2013, 2014-ish, somewhere around there, is the first time I ever got to experience this game. And literally, it captivated my full attention from the beginning to the very end. I got so emotionally invested in the characters, so attached to the game and the story, the plot twists, the action, the RPG elements, so on and so forth. But I got so addicted to the game, so attached to the characters and the story and stuff. The graphics and the music, everything about it just makes you want to be there. It makes you want to play the game. It makes you want to continue and take that next step and see what's going to happen. It's a game about time travel, if you haven't already guessed that by the title. And it's just really, really awesome. Like, I don't even know how to go into detail about how awesome it is. You can do crazy things, like you go back in the past, and because you're from you're from the future, and you're like, you see this forest that used to be this awesome forest, and now it's a desert, and nothing can grow there. And you know that something in between those time periods happened, and you want to save the forest. You can do that as a side quest, which is really awesome because not many RPGs from this time point had side quests like this. And it's really cool because it's such an early RPG experience, and yet it holds up so well that I think that they could re-release the same game as a AAA title and change nothing but very slightly upgrade the graphics. And I don't think anybody would know the difference between the new AAA title and Chrono Trigger. And that's what's really cool about this game. It's really good. And it's so good. Like, I don't know why I'm not playing it right now. Like, that's what I should be doing right now. And instead of, like, talking about this game and saying, go play it, I should just go play it because it's really good. But the combat is really good as well. Really fantastic and very unique. It's got a lot of really cool moves and stuff that are kind of different from your normal RPGs. An incredible piece of video game art. And that is the only word for that game is art. It is a masterpiece. Chrono Trigger has been re-released several times. So there's definitely a way that you can get it very easily right now, including on the DS. Go pick up Chrono Trigger. Please go pick up Chrono Trigger because you do not know what you are missing if you haven't played this game. Looking up walkthroughs or Let's Plays or hearing someone like me talk about it to you is not enough to justify the amazing thing that is Chrono Trigger. It has a very special place in my heart, and if I were to make a top 10 list, which is practically impossible for me, and I have for you guys today another top 10 list, but if I were to make a top 10 list about my favorite video games of all time, this game would be on that list, and it would be in the top 5. It'd probably be number 2 on my list, which is, saying a lot for me because I love a wide spectrum of games, from games that are really, really good and games that are also kind of bad. But to make it on a list overall on my list, because I like so much stuff, is speaking loud words, volumes, about its depth and potential. There's just so many really good games on the Super Nintendo. We should have done like a top 20 list instead. Thank you guys so much for watching our top 10 list. Make sure you comment below. Do you agree with our list? I say not, because everyone's list is different, but what games did not make our list that made your list? Comment below and talk about our list. Tell me, do you think Chrono Trigger is the best game on the Super Nintendo? And if not, which game is and why? We want to hear, and we love responding to these comments. We also love debating, as long as it's healthy debating. Keep that in mind. In the comments below, so comment down there. I want to comment and talk about this stuff. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Jmdjstudios and at AMGames64. Make sure that you hit that like button, because it's very important to us. This video, we want to continue to make these videos really awesome and really great and really detailed. It helps a lot. You have no idea. So just hit that like button. Just click it. Just click it. Just click the like button. Above all else, subscribe. We have more weekly content every week. We do this top 10 video every Friday. We have content on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Please subscribe. It's, as Rich Alvarez would say, it is free and easy. Thank you guys once again for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!